I've stayed in more than 20 Airbnbs and hotels throughout the city of Rome, and I now feel I know what is the best location for you to base your trip out of in Rome. This video is actually about the second best place, and if you're returning to Rome, it may very well be the very best location for those returning. I've spent a lot of time the last 3 days trying to edit this video, getting it ready. I hope you appreciate the edits and the information that this video provides. Here we go. Before we get started, we're gonna play a quick game. Let's see if you can recognize where this neighborhood is in Rome. As we zoom in, which neighborhood of Rome is this? Looking down there, that's Piazza Santa Maria. It's home to hundreds of restaurants, just south of the Tiber River.
I give up.
It is Trastevere, and we're gonna take a closer look at Trastevere and why it makes such a great location to base when you're in Rome. Recently, I did a video about the best location to base yourself out of when in Rome, and that's this area down here. And as you can see, it's kind of a spoke to so many of Rome's major sites, and that is the area of Torre Argentina. Today, I'm going to talk about another location which I think is an excellent choice to base out of, and it's down here in Trastevere. Now you can see most of the sites are going to be north of where you're staying, and you have to walk across, either the bridge or the river there. So the advantages of staying down here, to me, outweigh the extra walking, and let me explain why. While I still believe staying north of the Tiber River is a bit better, especially on your first visit, if you've been to Rome before and you're looking for something different, I'd highly recommend you stay in the Trastevere area. Trastevere, yeah, you have to walk a little bit further to get to the major sites of Rome, but if you've been to Rome, that's probably not your number one priority. Trastevere offers wonderful restaurants, literally hundreds of restaurants. Some of Rome's best food is in Trastevere. Best street food, best restaurants, best pastries, and the streets are very walkable. Lots of streets are not open to traffic, so you can easily walk down and not have to worry about getting hit by cars. Not that you really worry about that, but you know what I mean. It's just a lot more comfortable not to be fighting with cars down the same street. And many of the streets in Trastevere offer that. And it's just a beautiful area, nice winding roads, and just fun to explore. So that's one of the main reasons why I love Trastevere. It still makes getting to the sites not too difficult, but yeah, it's a little bit further walking, so there is the plus and the minus. Now let's explore some of the sites that you can see in Rome from Trastevere. Just up the river is the Vatican. Not too far to walk. If you prefer, you can take a bus or taxi. Less than 300 or 400 meters from Trastevere is Campo dei Fiori, Rome's oldest open market that runs every day till about 2 p.m., where you can pick up flowers, fruits, vegetables, shirts, hats, scarves, just about everything. Just across the river from Trastevere is Piazza Navona, one of Rome's most beautiful piazzas. Let's take a look. Also across the river, not far from Piazza Navona, is the Pantheon, one of the most awesome buildings in all of Rome. A short walk from Trastevere is Piazza Venezia with the Victor Emmanuel Monument. Just behind Victor Emmanuel Monument is the piazza designed by Michelangelo. And then in the corner, there's a really cool lookout where you can get a really great view of the Roman Forum that not many people know about. Let's take a look. Just up the road from Trastevere is Circus Maximus, where they used to do the chariot races. And from there you can either take the metro or walk over to the world-famous Colosseum. If you're lucky enough to be in Rome on a Sunday, be sure to check out the Jewish Ghetto. You can see this any day of the week, Sundays being the most lively, active day of the week there. And it's quite a celebration. Just over a mile away are these Spanish Steps. I recommend checking out a few other sites on your way over here. The walk to the Spanish Steps is beautiful from Trastevere. It's a bit far, but hey, That's what you're doing in Rome. You're going to be walking. You can always take a taxi. And when you get there, there is a metro that can take you elsewhere. Not back to Trastevere, but you can maybe take it to Circus Maximus. From Trastevere, it's about a 20-minute walk to get to the Trevi's fountain. Let's drop down and take a look at that. If we go to a digital currency, I wonder what we're going to throw into the fountain. Okay, now I want to spend a little bit of time going over what I think are some of the great options for dining. Now, like I said, there are literally hundreds of restaurants in Trastevere. These are some of my favorite, and let me share with you some of them. Here is one called Pizzicarolo. It's a sandwich shop. It sounds like a pizza shop, but it's actually a sandwich shop, and they make absolutely great sandwiches at reasonable prices. There's a lot of atmosphere. You can sit right out in front of the shop, or you can even take your sandwich, which I kind of like doing, is heading over to this piazza and enjoying maybe a show if there's maybe a street performer, but sitting there on the steps and just kind of soaking up the atmosphere. Another great restaurant that's right here in Trastevere is probably one of the most recognized as far as rated restaurants. It's called Tonnarello. It's got like 50,000 Google reviews, 50,000 TripAdvisor reviews, and I've eaten there. It's wonderful. Portions are big, prices are reasonable, and you can't go wrong. Right around the corner or down the street, there's a place called Nannarella, which is very similar to I've been to both within just a few days apart of each other, and there's not a big difference in my opinion. Now, I've only tried like the pasta, so maybe other things there would be, but I thought both were very good, and that's also a very good option. Over here, there's a place called Cantina de Papi. It's more of a charcuterie style, so if you want to go in there and just enjoy a lot of meats and cheeses, I thought they did a great job with a spread on their charcuterie. And again, it's not too expensive. It costs you 10 or 15 euros for a nice spread to share between a couple people. Over here on this side of the river is kind of a smaller restaurant. It is one of my favorite. It's called Papi. What I go there for is the carbonara. I love carbonara, and Rome is known for carbonara. But this carbonara, they sell both, but one of the carbonaras I go there for is called, it's for the artichoke hearts. And so they put the fried artichokes into the carbonara instead of the pancetta. And it's a great dish, especially when artichokes are in season. So I highly recommend you give that dish a try. There's a few others. There's Otello, which is up over in this direction, which I thought was great. There's Impicetta, which was great, right down over here. This arrow, this red line that's heading out here is actually not a restaurant, but it's a great, I put it here because when you're in Trastevere, one evening, if you have the time, take the walk. You just kind of walk your way up and keep going upstairs, and it's probably 400 or 500 feet above the city. You've got a great view of Rome, and a lot of people go there to enjoy the sunset over Rome. You can also see the Vatican from here, and the walk's quite pleasant. So yeah, if you got the time, head up this direction. If you're in Trastevere on Sunday, you don't have to walk through this way. You can come out here and catch a bus, and takes you right down here to a market it's one of Rome's largest markets. I think it is the largest market in Rome. It's only open on Sundays. There's 700 plus vendors. It's absolutely massive, and there's bargains galore. So whatever you're looking for, you'll probably find it there at the Sunday market, Portese market. I wanted to give you a little bit of perspective of Trastevere from Google Earth, so you can kind of orient yourself. If you look on the map, this area here is Trastevere. In fact, it continues down further south. But up here is kind of like you come in on the train, is like up over here. Here's the Colosseum. Here's the Victor Emmanuel Monument, the big, huge monument that we visited. Down over here is Campo dei Fiori. Here's Piazza Navona. On this side over here, there's the beginning of the Vatican. So you kind of see everything where we're related. Now, when we're talking about staying in Trastevere, I'm kind of talking about staying in this area. There's this main bridge that comes across over here and a main street that comes down here. All this area that's kind of close to the river, all of this is very nice area. Over here to the east of it, this is a little bit quieter, and this is a little bit more action, but both areas have nice restaurants. This is a lot more condensed. There's a whole lot more restaurants on this side, but if you want to stay somewhat quiet, I recommend staying over in this area You can always walk into this area, but I like to stay right in this area, right near Piazza Santa Maria, and this is where I like to be. Okay, I want to mention also, if you need to catch a bus to head to Vatican or head back to the station, what you're going to do is there's two real places that you can go. You can cut across this bridge here, depending on where you're at in Trastevere. There's two bridges. All the buses that go along this river, most of them are heading towards the Vatican, and the buses on this side, many of them are heading back towards the station. So what I do is come out here to this main road. If you're standing over here, you just walk down and you hit this main road. And then right down here, there is a taxi station. So you can grab a taxi if you need one. If not, there's buses that come by here quite frequently, heading in both directions. This other way down south is heading towards deeper into Trastevere, and the other way would be heading towards Piazza Venezia and the Torre Argentina, as well as the station. Okay, also want to point out that if you wanted to visit Testacio, it's another neighborhood that's kind of cool in Rome. I don't think it's nearly as walker friendly or as scenic as Trastevere, but there are a lot of good restaurants, and you may want to visit that. That's this neighborhood right over here. And down here, the street, like I said, the streets, you're kind of competing with cars on the streets, but there is a nice little square there, and you can go and just kind of check out Testacio if you'd like to. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found some value in it. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you'd like. I'd really appreciate if you make a comment. If you've been to Rome 1, 2, 3, or 4 more times and have not been to Trastevere, hopefully I've convinced you to give it a try. I think you'll really like it. If you're brand new to Rome, it's a great place too. I mean, the #1 place that I put on there is great. Look at what's available for lodging, and if you find a good deal here in Trastevere, I think you're going to love that, even if it's your first time to Rome. I'd love to hear from you if you've been to Trastevere. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what your experience was. Share it with others. To the next one. Alla prossima. We'll see you. Bye.
Grazie mille a tutti e buon viaggio.